Okay, recording for session 0 started. You decide the format.
Who's gonna call Elizabeth and we'll go ahead.
Did we text her?
I'm
I
at
did.
24.
I can call her.
Okay.
We'll see if this works.
You bet.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry.
You may have to speak up, but I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, much better.
That's my favorite commercial.
We're getting ready to start the session 0. Did you want to give us a quick rundown on what Locke, Pedalavon, Elenial, and Ash have been up to?
Yeah, so you said Locke, Pedalabon, and Elenial, correct?
And Ash.
And Ash.
And Ash. Okay. Sorry, you cut off. So, oh goodness gracious. We said over the last 17 years, correct?
That is correct.
Alright, so Elenial had been training with her father, Melanil, in order to take his position as town mayor, essentially. And he, at this point, would probably be, probably would have taken over the functional role and be getting ready to officially take over at this point. So that's really what she's been up to. Pedalabon has mostly just been supporting her, and he's probably been doing, well, he would have been doing a lot to support her in her endeavors, but has been doing a lot of self-reflecting as well, and doing lots of his own travels. And so they've been probably separated a little more lately.
What's the name of the town?
I can't remember the name of the town. Hold on. Let me pull up my character sheet. Because it's on my character sheet.
I guess that leads me to my next question. Is Elenial and Pedalabon moving there so they no longer in Nardorf?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
So, Elenial basically made the transfer, and Pedalabon is, still visits the town probably more often than Elenial does. And sorry, I'm going to pull up my
Is it Elenial or Elenial?
Elenial.
It's with an A, right?
E. It's Elenial.
That's
Yeah, it's
really
spelled
wrong.
like
I couldn't hear your question, Trey.
It was a spelling question. We got it figured out.
Oh. And I'm
Okay.
sorry, my brain is kind of dead, so
Very good. It sounds like
I apologize.
you're dealing with a lot.
Yeah, and then 7th period, I had a student make a report to me, and so I've had to go through mandatory reporting procedures this afternoon too. So, sorry. Let me see.
And if you can't find it, you can just send it to me later. It's no big deal.
No, it took me a minute to get to my page. And you were trying to find the name of the town, correct?
That is correct.
Notes. There we go. Lenore. Lenore is the town. Lanor.
Okay. So what about Locke and Ash?
Locke has been trying to get in communication more with Ash, but Ash is not quite there yet in that relationship. However, Ash has been following through with that initial conversation he had with Blaze and with, and I'm blanking on her name, my wife.
Oh, Marina.
Valid.
Yeah. Can you tell it's been a day? So, following up with that initial conversation, Ash has been reaching out and making contact with what's left of the vampires, and has been reforming that kingdom. I don't know, is it technically a kingdom?
Yes, Barovia is a kingdom.
Okay, so yeah, rebuilding that kingdom, and has been working with the vampires to try and rebuild relationships with the local towns and townsfolk, and to just kind of fix what Daddy Dearest screwed up. But so Ash has been working on that, and Blaze, and I know you didn't ask about Blaze, but Uncle Blaze has officially left the sects and has become an aide to Ash.
Okay.
So he's an official aide now, and he's left his position within the schools.
Okay.
Okay. Locke has been trying to reach out and better her relationship with Ash. He's been kind of prickly, but she has been around and helping him out in Barovia, and at this point has temporarily moved there while she's trying to help him.
And how much time do you think Locke is spending with Wander?
She probably splits her time, mostly because I think she understands Ash's position at the moment, and she doesn't want to poke the bear too much.
Okay.
So basically, whenever Wonder comes up and says, "Hey, can you help with this?" Locke will just run off, because that's Locke.
Hell yeah.
Sounds awesome. Was there anything else? Any other points you wanted to make about your characters? Like, I know it's a little weird doing it over the phone.
No, I think that's the majority of it. If there's anything else, I can message you, or I'll share it with the group.
Okay, and as far as like any magic items that you want to equip to Petal of On, just let me know.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I'm sorry this was such a weird one today.
That's okay. Good luck. Can't wait to hear about it next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too. Bye-bye.
All right, so that's pretty close to the format that I wanted. Just whoever wants to go next, if you want to go through all of your characters, or if you guys want to like kind of freeform it, totally up to you guys. Whoever wants to go next.
You got the novel.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it like campaign by campaign?
I was
so
thinking,
that way,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Just one at a time. So like campaign.
Campaign
Campaign
one.
One characters.
Yeah.
So Milo, Gwen, and
Creve.
Creve. You
Sure.
guys go first.
Yeah.
I know you got like the longest part, so it
It's
sounds like it.
it's
I don't know.
literally a
Mine's the
paragraph.
easiest.
Oh, okay. That's not
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
That's not bad.
Maybe two.
Crunk's
And
dead.
Crunk, yeah.
So sad. So sad.
He comes back every now and again to fight for Milo. Fight with Milo.
Crunk, no! I'm sorry.
You're fine. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so after committing to Bron the Bold, Gwynlian was, let's say, blessed with a set of twins, her younger daughter Ira, and a son Tahan. And while motherhood wasn't really an option Gwynlyan sought out either time, if she's going to be entirely honest with herself, she is now firmly in the opinion that it's a lot easier with a second or third set of hands around. Like with Adaryn, throughout the twins' childhood, she was called by different primordial spirits and old gods that dwell within the woods to address varying concerns, but this time her children were left in the hands of their father, be that capable or not, kind of depends on who's asking. But they were not delegated to home and kept separate from her druidic life. Like with Adaryn, as a Circle of the Moon druid, she often brought her young children to gatherings in the wood under the full moons. Secretly, she hoped that one of her children would follow a path similar to hers. After all, one can only hear so much about the goodwill of Bahamut before losing their minds. But most of their time was split between adventuring, where she sought to protect nature, and harmony between life and death, and the life that she's made with her growing family. As such, she's been absent from Nardorf periodically, helping out with the Rangers when asked, but otherwise has led her own life in quiet worship of the old faith, hearing the voice of the mountain and the sea alike, calling her as gods call upon their champions. How she ended up with a retired champion of 3 gods just shows that the universe does indeed have a sense of humor.
So Ira and what else?
Tan.
Say it again.
Tan.
Tan.
It's T-A-N. Oh. And there's an accent over the A.
Okay. Noted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about Gwynlyan? Is there any other character touches that we need for Gwynlyan, for Creve or Milo's part?
She helps when she's asked.
Okay.
But after kind of like existing in that sphere with the entity that kind of gave her the feeling of everything being off balance, which is not a situation that she really likes, she probably yelled at Creve and Milo substantially.
Yeah.
And
We're used to it at this point.
pulled out the mom voice, though, which she doesn't normally do with you all. With that being said, she's like, before you touch it again, before you move it, bring me in this time. And she got a promise out of him to the degree which we'll see how that accurate is. But yeah.
Okay. I'll go with Milo.
Sound good?
So Milo, what he would like to do for the 17 years. So it's 17 years from the point of
Campaign 3.
Okay.
And do you need the math on how long it's been since Campaign 1? Because I
No, I
have.
just need Kess's age.
Okay.
What is Kess's age at this point?
Oh, what is Kess?
Yeah, that's all I need is Kess's age.
20 or 21 or something like that?
Okay, so we're talking about when she was 3 and up until that point. Okay. So he's going to be raising Kess up until she's 16 and she ends up going on that adventure. And then Kess is on her own, doing her own thing.
Oh, where she dies.
Yeah. So Pete. He wants to convert his favorite tavern into his lair, giving himself lair actions next time there's combat, if there's ever combat in there again.
Don't worry, I didn't forget about that.
Okay, just making that on the record. So after that, he wants to help with gathering intelligence. He's always been good at that, given that he travels to all the taverns and he listens to people and talks to people and shares drinks. So the way he wants to do that, he's working with Creve with a teleportation system that allows important people from Nardorf and the Rangers to travel through the teleportation paths to local towns. And we just get farther and farther out, trying to expand our view of our surrounding area, where all the towns are, what problems there are, that kind of thing. Not necessarily like solving them, but gathering the information for them.
Right, just being aware.
In addition to that, I wanted to start a bard school in Nardorf.
Okay.
To start training younger musicians, people who inspire to be bards.
Can it be called Hornblower's School of Better Learning?
Yes. Yes. Glad you know Milo's last name.
Of course I do.
Hornblower.
Is that really his last name?
Yeah, it's Hornblower. Yeah, that's his clan name. It's Hornblower. He's the Hornblowers. So I'm assuming I can, because it's 17 years. Within the 17 years, if I'm able to establish a bard school and start to train people, I would like to work with the rangers and have agents who are bards and musicians who pose as entertainers, but are really there to gather information.
Okay.
They're the eyes and ears of Nardwar, and
Okay.
we would station them in different locations to keep an eye out for trouble and whatnot.
And do you want this to be like a partial sect of there's that word, a partial sect of the Rangers, or do you think that it's going to be a separate entity from the Rangers?
If that's up to the Rangers, I
Okay.
would leave that up to the Rangers.
They're always open to expanding and having new ideas, especially with the recent mole problems.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool.
So this way, Milo can be directly involved with the training of these people and kind of get their character, and figure out, make sure that there's nobody who's of ill intent, and only the most trustworthy would be able to join that force, and it would be completely secretive. The only people who know about it are rangers, top individuals, and that's it. Nobody in the bard school would even know that's a part of the bard school.
Okay.
Sounds very CIA-esque.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, Milo's it's like, what can he do? He wants to help and protect. When it comes to that's his reaction to the whole him and Creve bringing that thing back, and it's kind of his way of not being around, except when he's there with Kess and everything. So when he's in Nardwar for those 17 years, you only see him either at the bar, at his tavern, or at the chapel / house or home, with his wife and kids.
Right.
And
Okay.
he's still an entertainer. He still goes out and he entertains kings and people and
And his attitude
dances.
is he can have a drink with just about anybody.
Yep, exactly. And that's his thing is like.
And do you see any crossover between his Bard School and Wander's spy network?
Potentially.
Okay.
Once it develops and gets
How
kind
do
of
you feel
moving and
about
going.
Yeah, depending on the way, like the information that she provides him would probably be very broad, and the information that she would ask in return would be relatively specific.
So Milo and Wander have talked a bit, right?
They were
Okay.
at the wedding.
And we
The
and
list was embarrassing.
and we. So did you share your involvement with that organization with me, or the?
Wander's best friend is the wife of Ranger 1.
Right.
So I feel like at some point this would get brought up either in a conversation while they're both in town,
Or just a meeting, just
or
when we're
a
just
meeting
talking,
kind
right.
of organized between them.
Right,
So
just
there are
catching
enough
each other up.
pathways forward that that beginning kernel could have started in a variety of ways.
Okay. Then yeah, there would be, because that would expand our reach even further. So yeah,
Okay.
we would want to get directly involved, and we would already have a trusting relationship, especially since Ranger 2 is their wife. So
Okay, sounds great.
that's good for me.
Creve?
Oh, Creve. Now I gotta pull up his notes. Since the gathering of the shard, Creve has shush phone, been a little obsessive, a little neurotic. He's kind of gone a little nutty with trying to learn everything he can about it, but also starting to become more of a doomsday prepper. As he has been around enough that he's seen many of the nightmares it causes, and started getting a little paranoid and crazy about it. He spends a lot of time in his tower unless he needs to go earn some money somewhere. He'll go to a job forge, find something, earn some money, then go back to his tower and start doing a lot of internal renovations. It's less homey, more bunkery and death trappy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of just going off the deep end in paranoia with what has he done. But at the same time, this is so cool.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
Very fun to learn about. Very terrifying to learn about. The more he learns, the more he wants to know, and the more he regrets learning it. All that fun stuff.
It's a real interesting negative
Yes,
feedback loop.
it is a very big negative feedback loop.
The intro, like the
At what point does Creve get the courage to go behind Abana's back and ask for Talia's help? If at all. I mean,
I'd say around year 13.
okay. So when he does that, he sort of brings her in, and she uses her mind stuff on it, and it's almost like there's this well of energy that flows from her to it, and it almost shatters immediately. Like, she decimates it. And if you try to stop her or tell her, like, "No, don't destroy it," like, she can't stop. Like, she just instinctually annihilates it with her brain beyond repair. And you, like, try to look for little bits of it left, and there's nothing.
That's unexpected.
So you knew that it was somewhat susceptible to psychic energy before, but you didn't expect this sort of response.
Huh. Does anything else happen other than shatter? Like any pulses of energy or anything that, any reaction otherwise?
No.
Doesn't seem to be any negative reactions to Talia?
No. Not that you noticed immediately.
I'm
But
very confuzzled.
about 4 years after that, nothing really seems to change,
Awesome.
other than you being a doomsday prepper.
Yeah.
Do you keep the same? I know you had it in a planar dimension. Do you keep that same planar dimension open even though it's not there anymore?
Did you say that you couldn't find any remnants of it?
That's correct. Like, even on like a molecular level.
If Kree was to sleep in there, would he still have the dreams and nightmares that it would cause?
No.
Did we ever get the answer from Ron on what it's spelling celestially?
Well, say it again.
Like, given what Gwynlian took from it, she went and had a conversation, I'm assuming, with Ron and said, "I need you to go look at it and give me your opinion if you've ever come across something like that."
He's never seen anything like that before.
Okay. We're fucked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the Creve thing. Is that
No,
anything
you're
else?
good. No, just very. He's built a bunker that you wouldn't be able to tell has been turned into a bunker from the outside. The outside stayed relatively the same, but if you go inside and say, "Oh God, what has happened here?"
Does he start to like knock it all after the year 13?
Nope, it gets worse. He doesn't get it. It's the biggest mystery to him. This makes it so much worse. Why did it just shatter? Everything else he tried didn't work. He tried the same kind of powers and nothing happens. But when Talia did it, it shattered. Why? Would Talia let him study her at all?
In exchange for letting her, if you would allow her to have therapy sessions with you, to like, because she's concerned about you, so she would want to like trade. So she'd begrudgingly be like, "If you want to study me, that's fine," but she'd be.
He would give it a shot, but I think he would end up trying to ask more questions than answer.
I guess she's at least wanting to get you out of your tower.
It would work for a little bit.
Okay. Anything else?
Would he be able to learn anything about why it was different with her versus when he tried similar abilities just from a different source? Because he would have tried psychic stuff and not had that severe of reaction.
You don't know any other. I mean, you know other magic users that use psychic energy, but you don't know any other Kalishtar personally.
You gonna go try and make friends?
He might try and go find other Kalishtar.
Okay.
And just try and be like, "Hey, if I were to pay you in advance, would you come to my aid if needed?"
Okay.
Have him on retainer?
Yeah.
Desi, did you want to do Quark real quick?
I'm gonna do Quark when Mariah does Wander. Because
Okay.
Quark is hanging out with Wander and doing some things.
Great. All right, so we want to move on to characters from campaign 2.
Yep.
Sure.
All right, who wants to start us off?
Okay.
Same order.
We can't always like start ruining because it is
Rudy Bear.
pretty short.
What has
yeah.
Rudy Bear been up
Yeah.
to?
What has Rudy Bear been up
Seems
to?
like he lives the most stressless life.
I
compared to
know.
everybody
He's so
else.
relaxed. No
He
worries.
does.
He just wants to lance with his dragon.
Yeah, he's been very nomadic, trying more Fiernan, occasionally being hired to help where needed. He rarely returned to Nardorf until called upon until after about 10 years before this. He just kind of hasn't been back since. If anybody tried to contact him through saying anything else, he would reply with saying, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Everything's fine," but not getting information. He's just kind of been gone. And you have no idea what he's been up to or where he's been.
Okay.
I know.
Hell
Are we
yeah.
as players allowed to know?
Huh?
Or is that for something
Is
later?
it like
That could be something fun later.
Okay. All right. I just wrote down he's nomadic and antisocial.
Nothing's new.
Sword fighting with Rayon.
With who?
With Fear.
Fear and damn it. Sorry.
Too many dragons in the table.
Yeah, he's just kind of dropped off the radar.
I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
And who's next?
I'll go. Let's go backwards.
Good old Amir.
Good old Mir. Well, after the events of Curse of Strahd and after the events of Alvador and Pete,
After Pete.
after the events of Pete,
Okay.
he decided to stick around Nardorf a little more. So he went back to taking care of some of the inventions he had already created for Nardorf. I don't know if you actually want to work out logistically what some of those are, but I mean, he would be working with gathering water, food, and anything else, resources, easier for the town, so that way we can start progressing into different things. We can focus our interests on different things.
Okay. Advance the agriculture a little.
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly. Yes. So he would spend probably a good, like, however long it would take. What do you think? 3 years investing in new technologies for watering the fields.
The infrastructure.
Yes, things like that. After that, he would move to the boats, and he wants to create a specialized boat. If a big enough ship already exists, we would just enhance it, reinforce it with metal. But it's going to be reinforced, tougher, faster, bigger, preferably, and the cannons are going to be what I focus primarily on, my technology. I want repeating cannons for this specific vehicle.
Okay.
Thing like the Flying Dutchman and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, like the 3 cannons,
Yeah.
blow,
Boom,
blow,
boom.
blow.
Yeah.
Right, except in the
Gotcha.
rear there's auto loader, so nobody has to manually load it. They just have to manually reload the cannonball machine that loads them in shit, essentially. Giving Nardorf a superior edge when it comes to sea combat, since we're right in the water and we're part of an important trade route. Right, because Nardorf is like a trading post.
It is a trading
It's
post.
a huge trading post.
Yeah.
And the better we're protected from pirates and bad things and krakens and shit like that,
Yeah.
Um,
Krakens.
the better off we'll be. After hearing about his dad's encounter with the kraken and stuff, that's what got him thinking, hey,
Okay.
we can make improvements. So after that, I would say probably take a good, like, maybe 8 years. I mean, it's shipbuilding, and shipbuilding that's never been done before in this area. So maybe 10 years, a decade,
Okay.
to get something like that constructed. And in the meantime, he would have constructed a home for himself just out in the outskirts of Nardorf, to where he can do his experiments safely without hurting anybody, especially after that mishap with his balls, slapping around like that,
Okay.
making that big boom.
Okay. Is his home going to be on somewhere on the sea, like nearby, or on land?
Which one? The ship?
No,
Or his
like
home?
Amir's home.
Amir's home is going to be it's on the outskirts of Nardorf, in the woods, probably like around where Runin made camp, or where he was originally, in C2. I can smell it.
You got prepared his pants.
avoiding romantic relationships at all costs, focusing mostly on my work, and helping with Cass and all that good stuff, and helping with my mother at the chapel.
Okay.
Trying to make sure that was everything I thought of. Is there a way we can make large quantities of holy water and have it in storage somewhere?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
That I
He
think
would have
the-
worked on that because it was Strahd.
the Rangers do that anyway. So,
Okay,
but yeah,
sweet. He would help by making an improved storage system that made it bigger to where they could store more and access it quicker
yeah.
and stuff like that, like almost like fireman's
Like
hoses.
I was there, like, see, going to invent a water gun, pump, 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 spray.
Just have these golems with like hoses on their arms that shoot holy water.
Hosey down.
Never again.
Just have misters above all the gates, and then watch their head gets misted by it.
Don't hit Ash! Watch out for Ash!
Luckily, Ash isn't susceptible to holy water, so
Oh, that's good to know.
Watch out, Uncle Blake's.
yeah.
But other than that, he's gonna make more goo, carve more balls, and stay
Is
focused.
he gonna have another bat room like on Olvidor?
If he's gonna have a back room, he's gonna have some
It's in
interesting
his-
conversations
it's
with
his room.
Gwynlian, considering he's living in the woods.
Yes, it's in his house, and yes,
He's
he
like,
does.
we're gonna make this top tier.
If anybody's visited, he's invited you. If you guys have visited.
100%. As a guardian of nature, she's like, we need to make sure that this containment is top tier. This is not getting into my woodliff. You understand, child?
Oh,
It's
it's
staying
sealed.
out of the groundwater.
It's taken out of the ground.
And it's spill proof.
She would help me reinforce that.
Ew. All right. So speaking of adjacent to Gwynlian, Darren.
Yeah. So those who knew Darren growing up wouldn't really recognize her anymore. A somewhat sullen and guilt-ridden teenager emerged from Barovia to assume the mantle of Ranger 2. In that time, she's done her best to assist Ivanova in keeping Ardor safe. And when she wasn't a representative of the Rangers, she was helping corral the Hellions, who are her younger siblings. Between the responsibilities of Ranger 2, keeping Mushu out of trouble, which is a notable defense, helping Corey find a place for Goliaths among dragons, and watching her younger brother and sister grow, she hasn't had a lot of free time. But as kind of like the ranks of Rangers start to come forth and are ready to take more leadership roles, she begins the process of detangling her life from being so deeply rooted in Ardor. And as soon as the successor is located and ready to step into the position of Ranger 2, she plans to make a graceful bow and starting to travel, hoping to find the path of Bahamut once more. And so after a few long conversations with her father about the will of Bahamut, she plans to seek out the magic of the world, finding examples of draconic might that resonate within her soul to better understand the prime material plane. And as a fun fact, because I realized earlier that I had aged her incorrectly, Asmari can live up to 160, so at the time of your one shot, she's going to be like middle-aged.
Hell yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
And I know that Marcus is going to take your place as Ranger 2 once he's old enough. So is that the point where she's going to start bowing out, maybe spending more time with Corey at the monastery?
She doesn't actually increase her time at the monastery unless Corey directly asks it. She starts traveling. So
Okay.
she's actually trying to go live in the world in the image of Bahamut, which is the real reason why her mother is trying to be like, all right, younger children, learn about the woods with me. I'm done with this. So her end goal is actually to become one with the prime material,
Okay.
which is following in the image of Bahamut, who really likes things balanced. So she's going out and seeking examples of that.
Nice.
While still maintaining a relationship with her younger siblings. Because at some point she's like, you need more influences than these two. Come with me.
And Ivanova, she'll be 52 by that point. She announces her retirement at 50. Marcus is Ranger 2 at this point, so she's kind of been teaching him to eventually take the place of Ranger 1, and her official retirement will begin at 55. And her and Talia are going to go find a nice, like, little quiet place where the world isn't constantly in danger, and they can just relax and retire together and just enjoy their Sunday mornings or whatever. But I think for the most part, she's just trying to make Nardorf a good place to live and a good place to pass through, and using resources from her friends, acquaintances, and allies to make sure Nardorf is safe and is in good hands to her successor. I think she's a lot more laid back as she gets older on in age. She smiles a lot more. It could be because of her wife. But yeah, I think as the years go on, she's a lot less stressed as she gets further on in age. But for the most part, I think Ivanova is just her main priority is gonna be making sure that Nardorf is in a better spot than when it was when she first took the stage as Ranger 1. And of course, trying to figure out who is going to be Ranger 2 to assist Marcus, her adoptive son. But with closing campaign 2 characters, campaign 3.
This one I don't actually have written up. So I'm going to have to think about it for a second.
Okay.
Oh boy, Quantum.
Oh, Quantum's going?
Unless you would like to go, Corey.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, Corey.
Get Corey going. Alright.
Oh boy.
What?
Well, I've got plans for you, buddy.
So do I. Okay, well, let's see what I can get away with. Alright. So for Corey,
Okay.
after the events of Campaign 3, that first year, he obviously spent a lot of that making love to his new wife, Polly. And the birth of Thundera, got married, went back to Dawncaller, Mount Dawncaller, and spoke to Helm. Helm gave him approval to start the monastery. So that's where he would begin.
Okay.
Polly and Thundera would live with somebody more likely in Nardorf temporarily until Corey got things started. He would visit from Dawncaller to Nardorf, and he would want to establish a teleportation pad between the two, if he could, between the summit of Mount Dawncaller and the whichever one in Nardorf.
Okay, I would say, you know enough magic users, Quantum could definitely do that for you.
Right. Okay. So we're going to start building the monastery, and with Adarin's help, how I'm going to recruit is go from nearby nomadic tribes, and the way Goliaths work is it's the better of combat is the leader. So I would come in, challenge each of their chiefs, beat the shit out of them. And then Adarin would help me, after I'm now the leader of their clans. Adarin would help me select the best of them, best potential monks, the best potential for the monastery. So
And would they be all Goliaths, or is it open to all
Goliaths?
races?
So all Goliaths.
Okay, what
Yeah,
about,
this
what
is
about
the Goliath
half-breeds?
For the beginning, for the first like 5 years of recruiting, it's going to be all of, because his goal is to establish peace. He doesn't want any of these other nomadic clans traveling a bunch and then traveling up Mount Dawncaller causing problems and stuff. So he's building his society, and he wants to get rid of this old way of Goliaths, of being nomads, and embrace the new way of being Goliath, which is the way his clan was raised, which was completely abnormal, which was agriculture based and in one place.
Okay.
And make Mount Dawncaller like the Goliath home, essentially.
Okay.
That's his goal. And the way he achieves it is by beating all the other chiefs, and then taking the ones that are for the monastery, and then moving the rest of them into the civilization, and building it from there.
Okay.
So, at the beginning of Dawncaller, it was just this population of about 240 people of Goliaths on the top. Through this 15, 17-year period, I want that to grow exponentially and have the base of Mount Dawncaller actually have homes, as well as the summit. But the summit is for people specifically for the most trusted in the clan and the ones who are training in the monastery.
Okay.
rather than normal homes and whatnot, and sort of as a memorial to his old clan.
Okay.
Rayon,
And your sister would be involved in it too.
yes, sister. You mean my daughter?
Well,
Yeah,
you
your
have a
sister,
twin
Artemis?
sister.
Oh yeah,
Artemis.
Artemis. So she'd actually come by and help too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what she would be up to.
Yeah.
Okay, so Artemis would also help. Nice. So, Rayon. So you remember in my backstory, the Traveler,
Yeah.
how I had that part of my backstory, but never really came into thing. It just kind of remained as like a mystery. I'm letting you like decide who the Traveler is, like if you even want to decide who they are. But I'd like them to intervene again.
Okay. In a good way or a bad way?
Well, the first way he intervened was giving me my hand back when I lost my hand.
Okay.
And nobody ever asked, but the way Corey lost his hand was through his first interaction with a dragon. Because up on the mountaintops, they share with dragons, he learned Draconic to speak to them, and as a child, he approached dragon for the first time, and that's how he lost his hand. And he was essentially useless in the clan until this Traveler changed everything for him and altered his destiny.
Okay.
Sounds a lot like Okash. So, in a white robe.
Oh, Cash. Oh, Cash. Oh.
So, if he can intervene again and accelerate Rayon's growth to the point where at the 70-year period when my one-shot happens, Rayon would be 101,
Okay.
giving him the ability to be an adult now, not just a juvenile. Not a young adult, but actual adult. To accelerate it enough. Given that Rayon's gonna live a really long time, and I'm not,
Right.
I'm wanting to accelerate his life and get him to independence to where we can separate our souls so he doesn't come with me when I die.
So is your plan to pass on Rayon to somebody else after your passing via the tattoo?
Secret.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's for future lore. But would you grant me that?
Sure.
Would you allow the axe to accelerate? So with Rayon being larger, we would move to phase 2, which is using Adarin's help and Adarin's good graces with Bahamut, contact Bahamut and ask for his assistance. Tell him that we're servants of peace and that we want the help of the lawful dragons to establish this peace.
Him and Helm are tight, so that'll work.
How much does he like a Derek?
So I know Bahamut's the god of the metallic dragons.
Right.
So if he would grant me this, I would ask for his metallic dragons' help. I would want them to come to me to Mount Dawncaller
I think we should be real hard with this.
to start
Oh, Jesus.
building a relationship between Goliaths or just people in general and dragons.
Okay. You'd probably get visits from not necessarily dragons, but people that worship Bahamut.
Okay.
Sort of in a similar, but like priests and stuff, like whether it be
So very important
dragonborns, elves, dwarves, whatever,
Okay.
that would come and visit and speak on his behalf,
Nice.
maybe.
Okay. With Rayon's new size, we would utilize his burrowing ability, and we would start to hollow out Mount Dawncaller.
Interesting.
Yes. In a specific fashion, but I'll
Where
describe that
the
later.
mountain doesn't just collapse.
No, right. Yeah, in a specific fashion.
Yeah. Okay.
And start to build gondolas that go from the bottom to the top. That carry from the bottom to the top.
Okay. Okay.
So, the primary focus for the monastery is going to be training adept soldiers, some good at, or adept monks, rather. Some good at spell casting, some just good at combat. Like fist, hand-to-hand combat, that kind of thing. But all with the singular purpose of establishing a peaceful relationship among people with neutral or lawful dragons, and to keep evil dragons at bay. Keep them away from the neighboring people.
Okay. And how does Corey feel about like belief spillage? Whether or not would he allow people in his monastery to also believe in Bahamut while also worshiping helm? Is that
It would be a requirement they worship both.
okay? Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see.
In order to join the monastery, you would have to pledge allegiance to both of the gods.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, given that they both agree to that, both gods give me permission to require that of my students. If they require me to have either or, then I would have my students pick either or, and based on those, they would go into certain sects of the
Okay.
of
There's
the
that word
monastery.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, like something about sex at the table.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for Big Corey?
For Polly, Polly needs to have Polly Pizzeria, and it needs to become a chain. So we're going to start trying. But the main home of Polly's Pizzeria is now going to be Mount Dawncaller.
Okay.
And would she want to start moving into like making like food that doesn't have to be served like as a restaurant style, but can be actually like sent out to other places?
Delivery.
Kind of, but
It's
like
not
not
delivery.
made yet. Like it's like they send it to you and you have to-
Pre-made?
Right.
That could definitely be arranged.
Stuff like that. Okay.
It's not delivery. It's Polly's. It's
It's,
Polly's Portal Pizzas.
well, you order pizzas. I like that. Little bitty teleportation pass. Stand it out there. Shoop, disappears. Pops up. So yeah, so Polly's Pizzeria and partnering with obviously Corey Bars.
Oh, don't worry. I got that
Yeah.
covered.
And that's it though. Corey.
Quantum?
How much does Bahama actually like Darren? Because we were having a conversation about that. Trey's response was, she keeps Mushu busy.
Right. He doesn't like dislike you.
Okay, no worries.
He, I would say, I mean, you're kind of like in the middle as far as like his favorite followers,
10 out of 10.
but he doesn't see you as a nuisance.
Okay, I just
but-
needed to know that before she called on Bahama to be like, how are we in standing?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Alright. Tom. Where's your note? There it is. Quantum's living his best magic shop life. It's doing great. He's starting to have little, what are they called? Spectral minions to keep the shop clean, doing some busy work. He may have a twin or three that have created that. Somehow there's the one that's still around. Still no idea how that works.
Woody.
Yeah.
Darn.
Woody's still.
Because the
to be
DM
That
said,
was trippy.
the DM said so, that's why.
Doing how that works, but he has a twin. He has what's this stuff called? The
True calling work?
no, the servants.
Oh.
Oh, invisible servants?
Yeah, he has invisible servants. He'll keep the shop clean, keep doing all the busy work, the housework. Live his best life with Sorbo and what's the skull head person?
Bob.
Yeah, and Bob.
Rothenberg.
Yeah, Rothenberg. Rothbert.
Rothberg, there it is.
They're living their best shop life. Maybe open a second shop.
He's franchising.
Yeah, maybe franchise with a nice little portal between them that way you can travel between each one. Maybe Nardor, maybe Dawncaller, who knows? Just spread the shop out. The Skywells? Oh, he is having a blast of true polymorphic boulders of the Skywells to increase population, revitalizing their numbers.
Seeing a skywell now, like by the 17th year, it's a lot more common, as whereas like is extremely rare. So
Hell
The
yeah.
hardest part is finding enough boulders because polymorph requires them to be around the same size.
Oh wow.
Yes,
just making babies.
but they need parents to take care of them.
True.
So if Rayon is excavating, all the boulders and junk could be very useful.
Yeah, if you come visit, I mean, obviously Uncle Quantum's always welcome to visit. And Rayon would definitely have a just ton of giant boulders for you.
That would be great.
Especially if you come with like swords and shiny weapons and stuff.
Oh, he'd be fantastic at just bribing Rayon.
Yes, there would be a really good relationship. You get all the boulders you need. Like the perfect size. Whatever size you needed, he'd make it that size.
He'll invent random new swords and weapons. She's like, hey, I found this new thing just for you. It's not useful at all.
It's all bent and stuff. You go around corners.
Exactly. This one's a boomerang sword. This one's a smaller boomerang dagger. This one's a boomerang with a crossbow in the middle of it. just making weird, wacky things to have everyone make the most unique collection possible, just making polymorph folders.
Yep. That'd be a good relationship.
That seems reasonable.
I like it.
Has he occasionally tried to polymorph humanoids or inanimate objects into humanoids to see what happens when you bring an adult out of nothing? Yes. Does it go well? No.
Jesus.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't hurt to try. What happens if you polymorph a object into a lost loved one of some random person that's for help? What happens? If they're basically the same thing appearance-wise, what changes other than all their thoughts and memories? Quantum would like to find out.
Okay.
That's the neutral. That's the
if-
neutral.
Somebody's being really annoying, he might turn them into a stick for a day.
A stick.
Why did you look at me?
But that's normally not permanent.
So
He has a lot of fun with polymorph.
Pete was you polymorphed him, true polymorphed him to a boulder, right?
Yep.
And dropped him at the bottom of the ocean
Yep.
or whatever. The bottom of the.
No, you gave them to the people, and then you let them choose what they did.
I thought you turned him into a rock.
You did turn him into a rock. You gave him over to one of Wonder's old friends.
Oh yeah, and he told him just to drop him into the sky. But I don't know if they did or not.
They had to take him back for trial because that's what
Oh,
they were
yeah,
being
that's
paid
right.
to do, and he ended up escaping.
That's right.
You weren't able
Oh
to
yeah,
track him
he would
down.
try and track him down in 17 years.
Yeah, he's still no sign of him. He's been laying relatively low.
Did Amir ever get a
No, no,
or anything?
no. He
No
didn't-
whisper?
He's not dumb enough
He's
to come back to
listening.
Nardor, but no.
Even if he
Go out in the
got,
woods
oh,
and
what is that
just
spell
hang out.
called? There is a spell he would attempt. Let me find the name for you.
Scry?
No. Oh, I gotta find it. Hold
Yeah,
on.
you can write that down for Amir. He's still torn up about Pete 17 years later.
Like he would
he
fuck
wants
him if
back.
he showed
yeah.
up?
Yeah, he would.
That's the real reason.
Amir's Pete's the one that got away.
Which one? What is that spell called? There is a spell that will literally bring somebody to you
That
against their
fights in his
will.
work.
Okay.
What is that spell called?
It brings what?
It will bring somebody or something to you against their will.
Whoa. Like from anywhere?
I'm trying to find it. I know I saw it somewhere and I thought about it. Is it you?
Pete's just taking a shit, just smells some. What the hell?
What, tarnation?
Thought the aliens couldn't get to me
Oh yeah,
anymore.
it's gate. He would
Gate.
try gate.
Ooh.
And the requirement is you have to go in different planes for thing you're summoning. So he would try from different planes, and then it says when you cast spell, you can speak the name of a specific creature, a pseudonym, title, or nickname doesn't work. If that creature is on a plane other than the one you're on, the portal opens and name creature's immediate vicinity and draws the creature through it to the nearest unoccupied space on your side of the portal. You give no special power to the creature and is free to act as the GM deems appropriate. It might leave, attack you, or help you. But you definitely try and force him to him in that manner from several different planes.
Okay, I'll have to read
And
up
if
on
it
the spell.
Works, you might also just leave him on a different plane.
You
Okay.
said you have to say his name though?
Yeah, I have to say his name.
What if Pete's not his actual name? What if it's a nickname? Because we don't know.
We have no
We
idea.
had no idea what his actual name is. It could not be Pete.
True.
But there
That'd
are
be a
ways to
totally
find
Pete
out.
thing to do, is to make up a like Billy the Kid. Like, was his name even Billy?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it wasn't even Billy. He just came
I'm
up with
sure a
that
Celestial could tell you his full name. It worked once before.
name. Don't interrupt that poor guy again.
He's not a Celestial anymore.
He's on rotation.
Yeah, he's out of rotation.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, he pissed him off, so that would he'd also dedicate a good amount of time finding him. Otherwise, it's a shopkeeper life
Pete
for him.
is gonna be here forever. He's gonna be
He's
here.
never leaving.
Campaign 9. Pete's old, decrepit, still there.
Oh, I've got plans for campaign 9, 10, 11. Anyways, last but not least, Wonder Quark.
Yes.
So Quark came home with Wander, and she introduced her to Lilith. The degree to that went. We don't have to talk about it. But in their relationship, Quark has taught Wander Draconic so that they can better converse. So whenever she talks with Rayon, her Draconic may be a little quirky, but you know, beyond that.
Rayon's playful. He'll probably just be polite and pretend he knows what you're saying.
But yeah, so she's been busy. She's been making friends all throughout the Sword Coast, and she's been having the friends that she makes make more friends. And so she has, if the PDF that I sent you was alright,
Yes.
by the time of this one shot, she has essentially established contacts throughout the vast majority of the Sword Coast and into some of the surrounding like archipelagos and then inland as well. So she has a network of inns and individuals to send information her way, and she typically makes it worth their while. But she is not. She's associated with that network, but if you were to ask a layman who had heard of it, they would not be able to pinpoint her specifically. So she uses a pseudonym to try and help protect her family, because at some point Lilith and her had an honest conversation, and they decided that they wanted children, and so they asked Dorina to on the down low help. And so they have 2 kiddos, a son named Violence and a daughter named Ember. And during that time she's just been making friends, almost dying, being dropped back off at Lilith's bed and breakfast almost dead, which is maybe not Lilith's favorite thing in the world.
Not at all.
Yeah. She's really proud of Clever, because of the 2 of them, he's kind of gone like the right and proper way, and she's went back straight into the shadows. She had like the knowledge and the know-how and kind of like the respect after helping Marina take back Skypeak essentially, and she said nah, and so she went right back into the shadows. But so her children have had a wonderful Quark to grow up alongside, as Quark has essentially made mischief for everybody and just gotten a lot of cookies from Wander.
So Quark has learned how to talk a little bit better for common, working with Wander and the kiddos. And
Little's very proper.
stealing lots of cookies. So she's been getting into trouble, sneaking around, trying to get cookies, attempting to make some things herself, but causing more mess than organization.
Does Quark work in your spy network, or does she just hang out on the bed and breakfast?
Quark mostly hangs out around the bed and breakfast, but Wander will take her with her when she thinks that Lilith's about to kill her.
Like it's like an extra means of protection?
A buddy.
As a buddy.
Yeah.
No, I mean like while you're away, does Quark protect Lilith?
Would Quark protect Lilith?
Quark would protect Lilith, so
Okay.
that way the
She makes
cookies
good
can
cookies.
be.
The cookies continue to come. Ow.
Okay. And what's the name of your spy network? Do you have a name for it?
I do. I don't know where it is in my notes.
Okay.
So I will have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
The one last thing is that Wander has started trying to seek out the Raven Queen, and is trying to, just speak with the Matron of Death. What are you laughing about? The Mickey Mouse.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want to share with everyone what your brother's been up to?
Oh yeah. So Clever has been doing really well for himself. He decided not to run for council again once his 5-year term was up. Thanks to some of Talia's groundbreaking counseling, he was able to patch things up with Amity before she passed, so their mother. And since her death, Clever has taken up a mantle and is now called a Blade of Epsilon?
Epsilon.
Epsilon. I don't know why it took me so long to pronounce that. So he's really made something out of himself. He's done really good for himself. Very proud of him.
It's quite the turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Came from
Talia is very convincing.
Yeah, so what's Talia been up to?
Well, her thing was sort of tied into Susan's, but she had her own like therapy studio where pretty much everybody from all the other parties would come and just lay out their problems to her, and she would help them. And she got a lot of joy out of that. She was never really able to find out what happened to her mother, but eventually Susan surprised her with the announcement of retirement and the fact that they were eventually going to move away and retire to like a small cabin. But for the most part, she's just been doing what she can to help out her friends and help make sure that Corey and Quantum stay sane, stay on the good path that they're taking. I think she worries about Wonder the most with going back to some of her old ways.
It's valid.
But yeah, I think the therapy thing has been the biggest thing that she's stuck with. Maybe she'll do it part-time from wherever her and Susan move to after the Halloween special or whatever. But yeah.
Does she ever cure Corey of his fear of mushrooms? Is she that good?
Probably. I mean, she's very
In my head, I
capable.
hear him still. Tell me, please.
I would say that she comes up with a coping mechanism where whenever you're afraid of mushrooms, you just picture something else in your head, like
Polly's booty.
like Polly's booty. Yes.
Yes.
And
the best thing. in
and
the
it's like
world.
you, unfortunately for her, you've had to like practice, and she has to see it too.
Polly's booty. Does Delia not need therapy?
Therapists generally do need therapy, yeah.
Who does she go to? That is the biggest mystery of it all.
Exactly.
Probably Dylan.
Smart enough to go to her wife.
Smart not to go there.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else for session 0? We'll light this candle first week of October.
Do we know where it's taking place?
Like we're gonna start? At least?
So I'll take into consideration where you're. For example, I didn't know that Petal of Vine and Elenial weren't going to be in Nardorf, so some of us will be in different spots. It sounds like Amir and Kreve will still be in Nardorf.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Your thing is special, so Wander will probably be starting off at Lilith at the Stratford Inn. Reunion with Lilith, run a little bed and breakfast, and then Petal of Vine will start at. What did she give me the name of the thing?
Yeah, it was
Lenore.
We should say Petalon comes back to Nordor more
Right.
than anybody else.
So I have some time to think about that, but it's that's all I can say.
Okay.
Hell yeah. No, I think that's good as long as you got all the information you need.
Yep, and the Corey will help definitely.
Okay. Officially good?
Yep, I was
All
right.
Session 0. Yep.